WLMR!
Hi, this is Wendy with WLMR. We're here live in Kent State at a peace protest.
out of Asia. US out of
Tell us a little bit about what this peace march is all about.
I've been a part of this anti-war group since 1964, and we've just grown so much bigger since we started. Our members range from mothers to musicians to lawyers. We express our opposition through peace marches like these, through music, through poems, and many more things. We like to listen to folk music and rock music, and we especially admire artists like Bob Dylan and Jimi Hendrix, who have just so greatly expressed how we feel about this war. I believe that we shouldn't be in the war because it's not our fight. Why are we even in the war?
Who knows?
How do you manifest your rebellion?
We manifest our rebellion through the clothes that we wear, the music that we listen to, and the way that we act out against the middle class and the way society expects us to be. We believe so strongly in all these morals that just a few years ago, a few of our members lit themselves on fire.
I love fire.
Even statistics show that over the years, more and more people are starting to disagree with the war, and that's all thanks to groups like these. No more war in Asia!
No US out of Asia! Hi, it's Wendy again, still in Kent State. The peaceful protest has turned not so peaceful after all. Let's go over here and see what's going on. Who are you?
Hi, I'm Professor McCune.
Can you tell us what's going on?
I sure can. Hi, this is Kyla McCune reporting from Kent State. It's May 4th, and members of the Ohio National Guard have fired into a crowd of Kent State demonstrators, killing 4 and wounding 9. It was all decided to bring the National Guard in because of American involvement in the Vietnam War. Since May 1st, protests have occurred on college campuses. They started out as peacefully socializing in bars, but then turned into violent confrontations. Bonfires have been started in the streets, and police cars have had bottles thrown at them. When the National Guard arrived, the wooden ROTC building was ablaze with over 1,000 demonstrators surrounding it. Confrontations between guardsmen and students continued throughout the night, with tear gas filling the campus, and many arrests were made. A rally was set up for today, but university officials have attempted to prohibit the rally. At noon today, there were 3,000 protesters. The active participants in the rally were protesting the presence of the guards, but mostly it was an anti-war sentiment. Back on May 3rd, Governor Rhodes said he would be seeking a state of emergency if the rally went through. Just before 12 today, an officer made an announcement telling protesters to disperse, but there was no effect. He drove by them telling them to leave, but he was met with angry shouting and rocks. Guards were told to load and lock their weapons. Guards have began to move through protesters, and students found themselves on a football field because it was surrounded by a fence. Yelling and rock throwing reached a peak for the guards as they remained on the fields pointing their guns, but no shots were fired. Guards began backing up, then some turned and fired into the air and some into the crowd. 61 to 67 shots were fired in 15 seconds. Here is some footage of what has happened today.
US out of Asia! US out of Asia!
Let's
US out of Asia! US out of Asia! US out of Asia! Come on!
Stop.
Get our troops out of Asia!
Let's stop the protest.
US out of Asia! US out of Asia! US out of
Let's be civil. Stop the protest.
Jeffrey Miller, Allison Crows, William Schroeder, and Sandra Schroer were killed today in the Kent State shootings. 2 reasons for firing the shots were because guards felt they needed self-defense and that their shots were justified.
Hi, I'm Jenny from WLMR. Today in the U.S. there are 2 protests going on, one being the civil rights movement and the other being anti-Vietnam War protest. The U.S. is sending more and more troops over to Vietnam. Musicians like Bob Dylan, Jimi Hendrix, and Joan Baez are creating songs about how the Americans are feeling. The majority of music right now is anti-war/protest music. The songs coming out are expressing the thoughts about how we've made the wrong decision and are going to Vietnam. The songs are about sadness, regret, fear, and anger. It is being shown through all genres like rock, blues, and folk. Today I have Stacy here with me, who is against the war and listens to this music. Hi, Stacy.
Hi, Jenny.
So you are someone who listens to the anti-war music. Who are some of your favorite singers?
Definitely Jimi Hendrix. His song Machine Gun relates to the soldiers so well and talks about how they are fighting for no real reason, which is so true. It also talks about how the war has broke many families, which is also true. He also has a song called All Along the Watchtower. This song wasn't meant to be about the war, but it related to how many of the soldiers felt.
Wow, that's amazing. What other artists do you like?
I like John Lennon. His song Give Peace a Chance is what we sing at protest marches in different cities. It is basically saying how we should have peace.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for coming.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
If more of you at home would like to listen to this kind of music, which is anti-war music, you can go to Woodstock and listen to the different bands and artists playing about how the Americans are feeling, if you very well relate. Over 500,000 people go to Woodstock, and it is a big fest. Not all songs, though, are protest songs. Many are patriotic as well. Maybelle Carter's song, I Told Them What You Were Fighting For, is about how families are feeling, and it's coming from a mom who is for the war because she knows that her son or husband is fighting for what is right for the country. Another song that was pro-Vietnam War was called The Ballad of the Green Beret, which is by Sergeant Barry Sadler. He wrote this while at war, and the song is against all protest and talks about how he respects the soldiers and their bravery for going out and fighting for their country and doing what they know is right. And this is Ballad of the Green Beret. Oh my God, it's just a lovely tune. Well, thank you, and I'll see you again soon.
Hi, this is Wendy with WLMR. Today we have a segment on Vietnam propaganda. Propaganda is the manipulation of public opinions. Wartime propaganda attempts to make people adjust to abnormal conditions and adapt to their priorities and moral standards to fit the needs of war. To achieve this, propaganda often represents warfare using familiar images and people, like the American symbol of Uncle Sam. Shown here, exhausted, beaten down, and homesick, which is the way most people sympathize with the soldiers in Vietnam. Television has also brought war propaganda to a new light. Many say the freedom of journalists to report on the Vietnam War is turning public opinion against the Johnson and Nixon administration. In this photo, Nixon is placing symbols of bombs on the map. In this photo, it says, "If I promise not to breathe a word, will you give me a hint on what's going on in China?" President Nixon's administration attempted to impose censorship on media reportage critical of the U.S. military intervention during the Vietnam War. Propaganda posters played a huge part in speaking out against the Vietnam War. They not only challenged the U.S. being there, but challenged our methods that we use. Referred to as baby killers. This photo asks the question, liberation or conquest, saying, are we doing more hurt than harm? Over the course of this war, U.S. aircraft has dropped countless propaganda leaflets over Vietnam. Sources say the total number of leaflets produced is around 50 billion. That's over 1,500 for every man, woman, and child. A main focus of U.S. psychological operations in Vietnam is persuading Viet Cong forces to rally by highlighting the better life that they could have if they surrendered and by emphasizing the hardships and dangers of staying with the communist forces. Some former ralliers even provided testimonials for our leaflets, urging their former comrades to surrender. Our news team has also gathered copies of war propaganda from the enemy as well. The Northern Vietnamese use pictures of the true horrors of war to portray the soldiers' reality to the public. Here they portray us again as baby killers, and here they call us imperialist wolves with no remorse. The use of war propaganda mobilizes the whole society with troops against the enemy, in this case, America. This propaganda poster calls America the wicked man, and this propaganda poster says the U.S. is truly an axis of evil. Propaganda is also sometimes seen as mock movie posters, making war seem familiar and at the same time glamorous. This poster says, "Let's drive the U.S. imperialists out and reunite the fatherland." And this poster says, "When provoking a war of aggression, we will hit back, beginning with the U.S." Wartime propaganda unites populations against the enemy, although the war is not over and talk is cheap. The end. This is Wendy with WLMR. We have a special Memorial Day segment to wrap up the news. We'll now go live with Christina in Washington, D.C. at the Vietnam Memorial Wall.
Thank you, Mariah. This is Christina Young, reporting live in Washington, D.C. from the Vietnam Memorial Wall. The Vietnam Memorial is one of the most visited National Park Service sites in D.C., and each year, about 4 million people visit the park. The Memorial Wall was built through a foundation of private services, and no federal funds were used to raise money. It was established by the Vietnam Memorial Fund in April 27, 1979, led by Jan C. Shrugs. In July 1981, Congress authorized land to be used to build a memorial, and in October that same year, a design competition was announced to open to any U.S. citizen over the age of 18. It became the largest competition of its kind, and by December, 2,573 people have entered the contest. The memorial wall design requirements included that the wall must be reflective and contemplated in character. It must harmonize with its surroundings, especially its neighboring national monuments. It should contain the names of all who died or still remain missing. And last, it may make no political statement about the war. Maya Yin Ling from Athens, Ohio, was the winner of the competition. She envisioned a park within a park. She chose a black polished granite for the walls and a mirror-like image that reflects surrounding trees, lawns, and national monuments. This wall is to show America's greatest values: duty, honor, courage, and sacrifice. There are 58,272 names on the wall, each put in the date of casualty. The Department of Defense makes the decisions to put the names on the wall, and only the ones who died and or suffered while in combat are added to this wall. 8 women's names can be found on the wall, all of which are nurses, 7 from the Army and 1 from the Air Force. The wall has 70 separate panels, just like this. Some incidents have occurred where it was thought that the soldiers were missing and their name was put on the wall. But it turns out they were alive and found. Their name isn't removed from the wall, but it's removed from the directory. When visiting the memorial, visitors receive a dog tag and in the education center. It makes the experience more interactive and you're able to find your soldier on the wall. And you learn their story. The memorial is open 7 days a week, all year. When will you come and touch the wall? Thank you. Back to you.
This is Wendy with WLMR for the last time, promise.